Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Iris Podcast. I'm your host, Bowsy. Joining me here this week, we have Navino and we have John'll making his return to the Iris Podcast. Actually, both of these people making their return. How are you two doing on this fine Monday evening?
Solid, my guy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very good vocabulary choice.
I know. I got the vernacular right.
Wait, what?
Do you not know what vernacular means?
No.
Bro.
I'd rather
What?
I don't think we should go into that in this podcast episode because we have a very
Google it, John L. Google it.
Okay, I'll Google it.
Don't Google it. We have a very jam-packed podcast episode for you all today. We have a lot of things to cover, especially as we head into the halfway point of our first stage of Season 10. And of course, we have to start off all of these segments with our first section known as Amp It Up. First off, I want to hear what were your guys' favorite moments from last week in Tranquility. Navino, we'll start with you. What was your favorite moment for week 2?
I definitely enjoyed watching like Funjin, Riptide, and all them. Actually, now I'm blanking if it's Riptide or Brightside. You know, for BPL people, I always get the two conflated because I played on so many teams together. But continuing the dominance, they just look really solid. 4-0 over Just Better Inc. after they 4-0'd Classified the week before. You know, they just look like very much a dark horse in the tier right now, and it's really dope to see some new faces become such a dark horse.
John'll, what about your favorite moment from week 2 of Tranquility?
I'm going to be honest. I have to say it. I have to. That 4-0 that PosChamp got over Flashbacks was probably one of the biggest upsets in Harmony tier that we're going to see all season. Especially the gameplay we've seen from Formless, from Nova, from Stop Use. It was just amazing, in my honest opinion.
That definitely was the biggest upset of the season. We'll go into that later on in the show. I didn't get to watch a lot, but when I saw the standing sheet, I saw a lot of map 5s over all of the tiers, including a lot of highly rated teams that have been vying for titles in previous seasons, going to map 5 against some of these teams that maybe we've never heard about or maybe we didn't think would be as good. So a lot of parity overall in this season. It's going to be interesting to see how well the teams that went to map 5 are going to go as the season continues. Let's move on now to the next thing. What are you most looking forward to as we enter the third week of Tranquility? And Navino, we'll start with you.
I am excited to see MI7 versus Space Created. I think this is kind of the first bump in the road for MI7 where like they've played two teams that like they should 4-0, they should dominate because they look so good in preseason, and I think Space Created can give them a fight because they've also looked pretty good. They're another 2-0 team. I still think MI7 will win, but it'll be nice to see them kind of have at least a little bit of a challenge going into this week.
Yeah, MI7 having a really good season so far after winning that preseason championship. We'll see if they keep up the momentum against Space Created, who have some momentum of their own entering week 3. Jono, what about you? What are you most looking forward to into the third week?
I'm going to be honest. I'm going back to Harmony tier. I'm going to have to say Koala Kings versus Geo. This is probably, I don't know. I'm going to say it's just going to be like a Koala Kings family reunion. You see a lot of old Koala Kings players on Geo right now. So it's going to be a one to watch, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, Geometric picking up 3 of that championship roster last season, so we'll see how well they're able to fare up against a Koala Kings team, packing some other veterans to the Koala Kings and the Marsupial Org, so we'll see how well they go. I'm looking at more so the General and Harmony tier. There are 3 really good rematches or historical matches that we've had in multiple different seasons. John will just mention KK versus Geometric. I'm also looking at Doodles versus Luminous Foxes. That was a preseason semifinals match, one of the many dog bowls overall in this season. And then you also have Strix versus the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies, which has historically been a very interesting match to watch. So I'm looking for some very good matches over there in the Harmony tier, and we'll see how well they're able to live up to standards. Let's finish out our Amp It Up section, but before we do that, I need to elaborate because I'm seeing a lot of in the chat. Make sure you get your giveaways entries in. At the end of the day, at the end of the show, we'll be giving away a free t-shirt for our store at shop.spreadshirt.com/tranquilitygg. I don't know if that worked. Did it work? No, it didn't. I hate this.
Rest in peace.
I'll get
F's
it.
in the chat.
I'll get
F's
it
in the
working.
chat, everyone.
I'll get it working later, but an exclamation point store in the chat will get you right to our store. But regardless of which, let's go over to our final section of Amp It Up, which is a bold prediction for the remainder of Season 10. Navino, we'll start with you.
So here's my spicy take. I'm going to Transcendence. Amnesia doesn't make it to A group. If you, for those that remember, instead of having like top X from groups, it's just top 4 in the standings overall. Make A group, right, Bowsy? That's what I'm thinking of.
Yes.
I can't tell if you're laughing at me or just coughing.
I'm coughing. I am currently suffering from a cold, and that is why I'm probably not as loud, and that's also why you'll see me cough for a bit. I'm not laughing in any sort of way. If I'm laughing, you would know.
Okay, anyway, but I think that they will fall to lower bracket either at the start or after round 1. I think they are the teetering team on the edge for Transcendence.
We'll definitely see if Amnesia are able to recuperate their thoughts and their gameplay to keep it into A group, or else Navino's prediction will be correct. Jono, what about your bold prediction for the remainder of Season 10?
I'm going Harmony tier once again. I'm gonna say Pause Champ goes champ bracket, and I'm relying on that. I will put my money on it, and I have Flashbacks getting eliminated round 3. Hot take, but I'm calling it.
2 very big predictions. Safe to say Jono is on the Pause Champ hype train right now after their matches last week. I'm going to be going for a little bit of bias because I was a big... For those who weren't aware, Season 7 was when I joined the content creation team, and on Bracketology, I made a bold prediction that this team would make the grand finals by eliminating championship favorites. I'm predicting it again here in Week 3. Paradise Lost will make the grand finals by eliminating a championship favorite and be, once again, one of the biggest dark horses this season. They've been a very strong opponent, and the last thing you want to do is underestimate Paradise Lost. But that is it for Amp It Up. There's all of our bold predictions.
It'd be really funny if Paradise Lost did it again by eliminating a team I'm on.
Honestly,
that would be true repeating history.
I swear to God, if Beat Drop Burrs versus Paradise Lost is a semifinals match, yeah. I hope I'm casting it so I can say if Paradise Lost win that you absolutely cursed yourself in Week 3.
Hey, I beat them in Natter. I beat them in the Natter tournament. That's what matters to me.
Fine.
I got money for that.
Fair enough, but they're looking for revenge. Anyway, with Amp It Up out of the way, as I start dying, let's go into our first big thing of the day. Of course, here, if you are familiar with the Iris podcast, every single week, the content creation team ranks together what they think the top 8 in every single tier is. Once again, we're doing that here today, starting off with our Iris top 8. We have all of our content creation team members vote on the top 8 teams in every single tier, and then we compile them together and discuss them here on the Iris podcast. So we're going to start off with the first of those, which is the Harmony North America Iris top 8 for Week 3. Your top 8 in Harmony are 8th place Onigiri, 7th place Strix, 6th place The Flashbacks, 5th place Doodles, 4th place Geometric, 3rd place Pause Champ, 2nd place your preseason champions, the Galactic Penguins, and in 1st place, the reigning champions continuing their streak, it is the Koala Kings. Navino, your thoughts on this top 8 for Harmony?
I actually like it pretty much overall. You know, everyone feels pretty good, and Pasham does deserve a big boost, even though there is like a bit of an asterisk. You know, they didn't have Pasty, but at the same time, one player does not make a 4-0. One player does not. 3-2, I think you have an argument. 4-0, Then, yeah, I think maybe I would take Onigiri out for Jersey Boys or FBRD, who have played higher quality opponents and are 1-1. But it all being 2-0 teams, I'm pretty chill with this.
Yeah, definitely good takes there from Navino. Jono, what about your thoughts on this top 8?
I think this top 8's actually it's kind of accurate to an extent for me. I feel like 4 through 8 is a bit off. I'm going to piggyback off Navino here. I feel like Onigiri hasn't played that quality matches, but they still deserve top 5 because as a new team, they're doing a lot of things that a lot of new teams aren't doing this season. And that's winning. And winning kind of means a lot in Trank. So If they can solidify themselves by being 2-0 week 3, then they can solidify themselves the rest of the season.
Definitely Onigiri. We'll have to see if they're able to keep up that momentum, especially heading into this week where they have a feature match, but we'll get into that again later. Let's move over now to Discord tier because we have some interesting things to go over in Discord tier. Starting off in the Discord tier with your top 8. 8th place, the SEAL Team Spuds. 7th place is Pride. 6th place, Trigonometric. 5th place, the Cosmic Castaways. 4th place, Paradise Lost. 3rd place, the Beat Drop Bears. 2nd place, your reigning champs, the Reminiscence. And in 1st place, your reigning preseason champions, MI7, taking home the top spot. Navino, your thoughts on this top 8 for Discord tier?
I honestly think Avalon could be in at 7 or 8, and then just kind of like take away Pride or SEAL Team Spuds. Spuds went to Map 5 in the one game they played. You know, to me, it's like they're kind of getting in more in name recognition than actual results, while Avalon has beaten 2 decent teams.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Avalon could fit their way into this. I unfortunately do not have the rankings of what the votes were, but we'll definitely see if Avalon are going to make their debut next week. Jono, what about your thoughts on the Discord tier top 8?
I actually really like this top 8. The one thing I can say, though, just like Navino said, I'm piggybacking off of him 80% of this because he's not wrong. I'm going to be honest. Avalon needs to be in contention for top 8 because they are a really solid group. I don't understand how they're not, but maybe that's just me.
I'm starting to feel like I have 2 Navinos on the podcast this week, which
know the vibe.
Wait till you get to
baby.
Contender or Pretender. Wait till you get to
Oh yeah, just wait. It's over. It's over.
we haven't even mentioned that yet, Navino.
Oh,
Only
okay.
the people
Spoiler.
Oh, man.
You know,
Aw, man.
spoiling my podcast
Be no
before we even
spoilers.
get into it. Anyway, let's move over now to the final tier, which is the Transcendence tier. The top 8 over there. In 8th place, you have the Fleet Angels. 7th place is Singularity. 6th place is the Hive Mind Howl of Fights. 5th place is Wyverns. 4th place, the Billings Boomers. 3rd place, Amnesia. 2nd place, I'm going to hope my stream doesn't cut out, the Devil Dukes. Okay. 1st place is the Guangzhou Gangsters as well. Navino, your thoughts on this top 8?
My one big piece of like beef with this is Hive Mind being ranked above Singularity when Singularity literally beat them week 1. Now, again, you know, Hive Mind had a ringer, but they still lost to them. Results are results. So I feel like it kind of just is trying to invalidate the win Singularity has, even though like they literally beat this team. So people look at match results challenged, difficulty impossible, I guess. I don't know. Especially for Transcendence tier.
That's a call out to some of the CCT members out there. I hate to say it early in the season. Jono, what about your thoughts on the Transcendence top 8?
So the whole Singularity Hive Mind thing, yeah, Hive Mind had a ringer, but yeah, they got 4-0'd. No, they got 3-1'd actually.
Yeah, it's 3-1. So it was a decently close game.
It was a decently close game. Singularity
wanna know me? Don't you play dumb? How do you feel beside without me? How do you feel beside when I don't sleep? Somehow found me, but you still doubt me. How do you feel beside without me? So don't you hold me if you don't wanna know me. So don't you leave me empty when it's only in my eyes. How do you feel beside without me? How do you feel beside when I don't sleep? Somehow found me, do you still doubt me? How do you feel beside without me? How do you How do you without me?
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you again, Vela, for editing that amazing montage video. Guys, make sure you submit all of your clips from, or at least any good ones that you have from your weekly matches. They can get featured in the weekly montage every single week here on the Iris Podcast. But now, gentlemen, it is time for our main segment of today. You may have seen it in the title, or you may have heard someone mention it earlier. It's time.
Leaks.
Yeah, there were leaks, unfortunately. You know, we need to start calling a plumber because there are a lot of leaks every single week. It is time, as I try to remember which one of these it is. There it is. It is time for our main segment of the week, which is Contender or Pretender. We're 2 weeks in. That means we have 2-0 teams across all of our divisions. I'm pretty sure I counted there are at least 23. We are going to be judging those teams here, seeing if they are a contender, which as in a contender to win the entire thing, or a pretender who's just had a very lucky strength of schedule to start off their season 10. So, gentlemen, we're going to go through all of them, and we're going to start in the Harmony tier with our Harmony tier teams who are on the contender or pretender list. So, we're going to start off with, I need to actually make this one visible. I can't believe I forgot about that. We're going to start off with a very notable team, a team that someone here may or may not be affiliated with, and that is the Koala Kings. The Koala Kings are currently 2-0 and plus 8 map differential, going undefeated against both Chrysalis and Insidious. Navino, you're the man of the hour. You used to run this team. Who do you think Koala Kings are a contender to win a third championship, or just a pretender with a lucky strength of schedule?
I'm gonna go contender. It'd be really easy to kind of. Oh, excuse me. Oh gosh. It'd be really easy to go off on them if they had lost map, but kind of just like steamrolling 4-0 both matches. And versus Chrysalis, they didn't even have a send there, so it's like they did it with a player down. You know, like they just look like they're in form. I'm really interested to see the GO-KK match because that'll kind of solidify a lot of stuff for me, like how they look. But they are, to me, the team to beat right now.
Jono, what about you? Are Koala Kings a contender or a pretender?
I'm going the exact opposite. I'm going to say they're just big pretenders here, in my honest opinion.
Gosh.
Yeah, Navino,
guy.
yeah, I have to, man. They played one game, and I feel like out of every team in the entire Harmony tier, they probably have one of the easiest schedules, in my honest opinion.
You said they only played one game?
So, yeah, they only played one.
They played
So
two.
they played two. They beat Chrysalis 4-0 and Insidious 4-0. You're thinking of Geo.
I'm looking at Geo. I'm sorry. Yeah, but they still haven't. They still have one of the easiest schedules.
Didn't you pick
It still
Insidious to win
correlates.
this group 2 weeks ago?
I did, and I still stand on it.
But
I still stand on it.
okay, all right.
He's got a point. I mean, anything could happen. It is only we are not even at the halfway point, so anything could happen. So
Sure.
Yeah, Navino.
you know, the Koala Kings could forget to submit their match sheets again.
So real, Bowsy. So real.
Nah, it won't happen. Hayden's not on the org. Hayden's not running the team anymore. But yeah, definitely some hot takes already being dropped here as we head into our next team, which was alluded to earlier. It's Geometric. Geometric have had a very interesting season. Your runner-ups last season beat Insidious 4-0 in Week 1 and got a bye in Week 2. Navino are Insidious, not Insidious, Geometric. Jono got Insidious in my head. Are Geometric a contender or pretender?
I went Contender. The returning players from last season Koala, so I'm a little biased there because I know a lot of them. But they've also just they're doing what they're expected to do. So until then, I saw them as Contender preseason. I see them as Contender now.
Chano, what about you? Do you think Geometric are a contender or pretender?
Saying the same thing I said before. I'm going pretender here. I need to see more out of Geo this season. I really do. They only played one match. Until they show me this week, actually, maybe my answer will change.
But if you think Koala's a pretender too, so how does Koala help them?
They're both pretenders until one of them beats each other.
Oh, okay.
You can't pretend to pretend.
Exactly.
so
There you go. That's wise words of wisdom from Bowsy. But let's go over to our next team as I get rid of those. Let's get over to our next team here, which is another 2-0 plus 8 team, and that is Strix. Strix having another hot start. They've had a few hot starts these past couple of seasons. They beat both Eminence and Mets Gaming 4-0 each over the past 2 weeks. Navino, do you think Strix are a contender or a pretender?
I'm going Contender because they're returning a ton of people. They can only really go up from here. And I just have faith in Jimbo Overwatch. So I'm gonna go Contender right now. Convincing wins.
Jimbo has been known to make some some pretty good teams over in the Harmony tier. Jono, what about you? Do you think Strix are a contender or a pretender?
Oh man, I got 3 in a row. I'm going Strix or pretenders too, man. Ever since Overwatch 2 came out, I feel like they've really struggled with the game itself. I don't know if you guys remember Season 9 Stage 1, they played amazing. And then as soon as Overwatch 2 came out, they kind of just, they didn't win a single match, right? Season 9? So
No, they won. No. That's X Kusanagi you're thinking of. Strix beat X Kusanagi. That was their win.
Yes.
yeah, okay. But still, it was just like Overwatch 2 came out and they just struggled. Stage 2 was just a struggle bus for them, it seemed like.
They did win a playoff game or two, though. They made it pretty far. But yeah, I mean, Stage 2 is if you don't... I get what you're saying. I can see it.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if Strix... I mean, Strix had a very rough Stage 2, but who knows? Those switches could have worked. We could see them falter. We'll have to see. The two opponents that they've had have not had the best of seasons either, so we'll see how that fares out as we go along. Let's go into our next team, which I don't think anybody entering Week 2 thought that we would see here, and that's Pause Champ. Probably the roughest start to the season when you were looking back at the first week, having to go up against the preseason runner-ups in Luminous Foxes and the 2-time champions of the Flashbacks. They swept both of them, and now they're undefeated, 2-0 plus 8 with the other the other 3 that we just mentioned. Navino, are Pause Champ a contender or a pretender?
I put Contender here. I want to give credit where credit is due. No matter the asterisks by the matches, you can't really invalidate the results they have, right? They've won both their games in sweeps. Regardless if maybe in my opinion, Luminous is not as good as we thought, largely in part because they just had an easier side of the bracket in preseason, and notably a lot of good teams from the rest of Harmony did not sign up for preseason, but still a solid win. And then Flashbacks, still a solid win, even with the missing pasty situation. Both solid wins. Contender right now. Definitely, I think they'll definitely make the champ bracket again.
Jono, are Pause Champ a contender, or is all of this just out of the dog's ass?
I'm gonna be honest. Everybody knows what I'm gonna say here. PogChamp is a contender for me. That 4 over flashbacks really solidified them as a whole in the tier. Obviously, it's just the entire like old F972 bracket like roster without give or take a couple people. So it really shows you how much team synergy they have as a whole. So it's there, the synergy's there, the team's there. Now the results are showing.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, mostly Fahrenheit players except for one piece, which was Nova, who was on Ace High last season. Another solid pick, honestly. So a lot of good players over there on PogChamp. We'll see if they're able to keep this momentum going as they enter into the later weeks. Now let's head over to our next team, which is our preseason champions, the Galactic Penguins. They haven't had the best season so far, but they have been able to come out 2-0, albeit with a +3 map differential. They lost a map to the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies and also went to map 5 against the Jersey Boys, which according to what I've heard was only won because Jersey Boys had a Charlie Niner. Navino, are the Galactic Penguins a contender or a pretender?
I'm gonna still say contender. They need to lose a game for me to kind of put the preseason out of mind. I think they still compete. They're kind of just a shaky team at the moment, though. But as long as they're still playing up to the level of teams that are good, I'm okay with them still being a contender for now.
Jono, are the preseason champions still a contender, or is the preseason championship just nothing more but a make-believe story?
The preseason team is still a contender, in my honest opinion. They are walking into this season with a whole new roster, almost. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. Chobi's doing his thing with Bernie. GP has some potential this season.
We'll see if GP is able to live up to that potential as the season goes on. Let's go over now to probably the tastiest team on this list, and that is Onigiri. Onigiri came into the season. They won 2-0 so far with a +6 map differential. They beat the Basement Dwellers in a sweep and then beat Gehenna Gatekeepers 3-1. Navino, are Onigiri a contender or a pretender?
Oh, pretender, 100%. Struggle against Gehenna Gatekeepers, which is a mid team. They 4-0 a team like they should 4-0. They're still middle of the pack, but I don't think they'll compete for a championship. And they can clip this and send this at the end of the season. I would love to be proven wrong. Please.
Listen, that's what we're here to do. If you notice that we say like, oh, you're not going to be winning, oh, you're not going to be doing anything, by all means, Thuggington has encouraged you to roast us. We'll roast back. So get yourself ready for us because we're prepared for it. We're ready this season for all that. Jono, what about you? Are Onigiri contenders or pretenders?
I gave them a contender for me too. They're a new team. They kind of just like really popped out of nowhere. Like I said, week 1 of the podcast, they just really just like kind of appeared out of nowhere.
Isn't this the old Ace High roster that got announced though? Yeah. So
was it?
Yeah, this is like, and then the rebrand happened. But a lot of vets this season. They are new together, but a lot of vets for different teams. It's kind of an amalgamation.
Yeah.
So I'll give it to them. I need to see a little bit more before I all in.
Yeah.
But I'm a big gambler, so I'll throw a couple dollars on them. They got it.
There are some to Jono's credit, obviously saying it's a new team. There are 2 rookies on the side of Onigiri. So I believe Aku and Husky are both rookies.
Husky's the only one. Aku played on a team last. He just got dropped before the end of the season, so he's played in Shrek before.
I have to do my research again. We'll figure. I'll get that sorted out.
I just have an encyclopedia in my mind. Bro,
yes, you do, and I really need to start tapping into it whenever I do my sort of preparation for the season. Let's move on to our next team, which you know what? You can never be prepared for. It's the one and only Doodles. Doodles, obviously, your Season 8 champions have once again found themselves in a 2-0 situation. Somehow, don't question it, they beat Chicago Mafia and Exhilaration both 3-1. Navino, are Doodles a contender or a pretender?
They're contenders because Cheon exists. Like, and he's just going to be one of the top players in Harmony every time he plays. I've given up on trying to like go against Doodles because they play bad teams close because they troll, but then beat good teams. They're just an enigma, truly. Like, I'm going contender.
Jono, what about you? Are Doodles a contender or pretender?
And Navino is opening my eardrum with all of these massive words he's using. Um, I'm gonna Doodles is a contender for me. I really want to see the result of this Luminous Foxes match on Tuesday because that will genuinely solidify my answer. But right now, they're contenders for me.
I see someone in the chat asking why the dogs only have one arm, and Train answered it. They are tails. They are not arms. Why? Don't put that image into all of our heads.
Oh my God, that's an arm, Bowsy.
No,
it
that's
isn't.
definitely a tail, bro. That's definitely a tail.
I'm
It's
banned.
definitely them like just looking at you, like wagging their tail, and it's like they're
Oh
wagged
wait,
out.
they're like okay. I see it.
Yeah, it's a front eye view, and the tails are wagging.
Guys, they're definitely tails. Did you guys really think they were arms this entire time?
I don't want to go into this discussion, so you know what? We're going to move over to our next team, which has 8 arms, and that is Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance, a pretty mid-team last season, making a strong impact with a 2-0 +5. They beat Aimbots in a sweep, but then went to map 5 against the Basement Dwellers. Navino, are Clairvoyance and a contender or a pretender?
100% pretender. Basement Dwellers do not look great. Going to map 5 with them, to me, says more about them than does about Basement Dwellers. I need to see Clairvoyance get a quality win and a decent quality win. But otherwise, I do not see them making an impact long term.
Jono, what about you? Do you think Clairvoyance are a contender or a pretender?
I'm gonna give it to them. Really, I'm not gonna sound like a sore loser, but they do have potential. So I'm gonna say they're a contender here. They have a really solid team. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, they went map 5 with Basement Dwellers, but at the end of the day, anybody can go map 5 with anybody. So it really just all depends.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody can go to map 5 with anybody. We just saw that last week, where a lot of good teams went to map 5 against teams that were either highly underrated or we didn't think were as good. So anything could happen. So we'll see if Clairvoyance are able to continue releasing the Kraken over their pool. But, with every Kraken comes a shark, and that's where we head into our next team, which is the Late Night Esport Makos, who find themselves 2-0 with a +5 map differential. They got a forfeit win over Swordfish, but also beat Chrysalis in a map 5 situation. Navino, are the LNE Makos a contender or pretender?
Oh, it's pretender. Chrysalis consistently is like a mid-tier team that sometimes punches above its weight. So going to map 5 isn't always like a really good look for them. And then the FF win, we don't really have anything else to go off of. If it was 2 wins, maybe there's something, but I just don't think there's stuff to talk about.
Jono, what about you? Are the LNE Makos a contender or pretender?
I'm gonna say the same thing. They're just pretenders. I don't really know much about them as a roster, as a team. Pulling a 3-2 on Chrysalis, like Navino said, Chrysalis hasn't really been that good, and with a forfeit, so there's not really much else you can really say about the team. I need to see more.
We'll definitely see how well the LNE Makos are able to rebound. Obviously, a new team entering Trank this season. Not a lot is known about them. We'll see if they're able to bring themselves in to the next roster. One more team to go over in Harmony tier, and I don't think anyone saw this coming either. The Fighting Potatoes are somehow 2-0 so
Let's
far
go.
this season. What a season that the Fighting Potatoes have had. I mean, obviously, they've had some very interesting matches, like a bye in week 1 and a forfeit win to Swordfish. So, Navino,
I abstain. I'm not answering this. There's no point in answering this. I love the potatoes, but I'm not answering this.
All right, well, I'll put this one in that place. Jono, what about you? Are the Potatoes a contender or a pretender?
I'm gonna be honest. Fighting Potatoes all the way to champ bracket, contenders for sure. Thank you. End of conversation.
I hope you can see what I put there in that.
I did. I'm seeing it. It's high quality. I'm glad that you let me abstain like this. Thank you.
That's the only way I could let you abstain, is that you're scared of the hashtag NPC sweep. I mean, obviously, we'll see. The Fighting Potatoes, again, a lot of veterans on that roster. We'll see if they're able to actually continue the sweep. I swear to God, if the Potatoes find themselves in the championship bracket, I will eat a raw potato on stream.
No way.
You will quote this, and then we'll get that eventually sorted.
I already clipped it.
Yeah. Clip that, send it to Potatoes General. I don't care. But that is it for our Harmony teams as I get rid of that ticker. Let's go over now to the next part, which is our Discord tier teams. Again, multiple different Discord tier teams that are also 2-0. We have to go over those and see which one of them are possible to be a contender or pretender. Let's start off with the reigning champions, and that is Reminiscence. Reminiscence so far are 2-0 after 2 strong wins over both the Thunder Duckies and the Tampa Bay Tryhards, both being 4-0 sweeps. Navino, are Reminiscence a contender or a pretender?
They're a contender. People call them a contender going into the season. They've taken care of business. They're winning the games they should win. So I'm just going to keep them as contender.
Jono, what about you? Are Reminiscence a contender or a pretender?
They're contenders. It's Rem. There's not really much to say. It's genuinely, at the end of the day, if you look back, it's just game for game, win for win. It's just Reminiscence.
Reminiscence have always shown to be strong when it matters the most. We'll see if they're able to keep up that momentum as they continue through the season. Give me a second here while I just move something a little bit. There we go. All right, let's move over to our next one, which is going to be your preseason champions, MI7, who have had a pretty strong season so far as well. They beat the Tampa Bay Tryhards as well in a 4-0 sweep, as well as getting a sweep over MI7, Wildfire. I'm tired. Navino, are MI7 a contender or a pretender?
Contender. They won preseason. They haven't dropped a map yet. Let's move on. There's no reason to talk about them anymore. They're there.
He said, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Jono, do you think MI7 are a contender or a pretender?
I'm going contender. Just like Navino said, they haven't dropped the map. They won preseason. Obviously, I have some love for Fish, so I'm obviously gonna shout Fish out. I love Fish, so MI7's contender for sure.
We all love Fish, apart from the fact that I saw him join Devil Dukes, in which case I don't like Fish that much anymore. But you know what? It's okay. But MI7 definitely a strong team. Let's move over now to our next team, which, again, someone here might be actually more related to. It's the Beat Drop Bears. The Beat Drop Bears, the new marsupial team on the block, are once again 2-0 plus 8, keeping up with marsupial tradition. They beat Concordia, Wild Win, and the Wild Cat Boys for a wild 4-0 each. Navino, are the Beat Drop Bears a contender or a pretender? Don't worry, you can be biased or not.
Obviously, I'm going to say contender, playing on the team. I think the Cat Boys win is still a quality win, 4-0. I'll be real, I don't think that game was very close outside of circuit. We kind of steamrolled them outside of that. Solid team. I have faith in them for long term, but we haven't dropped a map yet, so to me it's like we've done what we're supposed to do.
Jono, what about you? Are the Beat Drop Bears a contender or pretender?
All right, Navino, you're gonna be mad at me.
I read the script. I know what you put.
All right, I'm going pretender just for the simple fact that I want to see more. Yeah, they had a good quality win against Wildcat Boys, but every single map was close. And by close, I mean they won by overtime buff, to be honest.
We capped KR with 4 minutes.
Overtime buff. Overtime buff. Overtime buff.
Okay. You know,
Listen, the last thing you do is question Jono. Okay, that's the last thing you do on my podcast.
I'm speechless.
I'm speechless.
Hey, I mean, you know what? Speaking of speechless, one team that left us all speechless 3 seasons ago was Paradise Lost, who made the championship
God, you always
bracket.
bring this up.
Listen, I like Paradise Lost, and that finals match was fun. Paradise Lost are currently 2-0 at +8. They beat Culture and Redacted, both 4-0 to start off their season. Navino, are Paradise Lost a contender, or are they lost in the sauce?
I think they're a contender. I do think they had signs of weakness versus Redacted. I didn't really watch the Culture game, but the stream game last week. But until someone actually beats them, it's like, who cares? They're 4-0. Even if they have weak moments and they're losing fights, they have not lost a map.
Jono, what about you? Are Paradise Lost a contender or a pretender?
I'm gonna give them contender. How they perform against Trigonometric this week will really set my answer, because obviously Trig is a really strong team. So if they pull this quality win off of Trig, then they're a contender for me for sure.
We'll definitely see how well Paradise Lost are able to go along. Let's move over now to our teams that have lost a few maps this season. Starting off with your Season 8 champions, the Cosmic Castaways. The Castaways are currently 2-0 with a +6 map differential. They were able to beat Poseidon 3-1, and Tempest, I guess they also beat 3-1 because my score here is wrong. Navino, are Cosmic Castaways a contender or a pretender?
I think it's probably my hottest take of the day, and I think Cosmic is a pretender. I did not like how they looked versus Poseidon. Tempest, I don't know if the 4-0 says more about them or more about Tempest. But right now, I'm going to go pretender. I want to see them play more games. I want to see how they do against truly top-tier competition.
Also, my math is officially off today because, yes, it was a 4-0 against Tempest. It took me a bit to get my math there sorted. What about you, John? Are Cosmic Castaways a contender or a pretender?
I'm gonna go pretender just for the fact that they dropped the map versus Poseidon, and they really won. Just like I said, every single time in all of these close maps, it's just overtime buff. They just won in overtime. I need to see more. That win over Tempest is really just it's iffy to me because Tempest as a roster is pretty iffy to me right now. So I just want to see more out of Cosmic, to be honest.
We'll definitely see if Cosmic Castaways are able to soar farther as the season goes on. Let's move over now to a team that was mentioned for our top 8, but wasn't in the top 8, and that was Avalon. Avalon have had a pretty good season. They're 2-0 +4. They beat UV Rays and Maelstrom 3-1 each. Navino, are Avalon a contender or a pretender?
I said pretender. I think the teams that are 3-1ing, they should 4-0. Like, at this point in the season, unless you've played people that have been dubbed like favorites, you need to be 4-0ing to be really considered for long-term success. Remember, there's only 6 teams that make it into the champ bracket. I don't see them as one of the top 6 teams.
We'll see about that. Jono, what about you? Do you think Avalon is a contender or a pretender?
I'm gonna say pretender just for the fact that like what Navino said, they haven't really played any good teams, and I want to see the outcome of this week because week 3 really determines the top 8. In my honest opinion, if you make top 8, you either get a really big ego and you win, or you lose.
Or you get a big ego and you lose. That's the better way to put it, honestly, in my opinion. But yeah, Avalon. I mean, this is kind of a story we also saw last season. Avalon were a team that had a really good beginning, and then sort of struggled as the season went on. So we very well could be seeing the same Avalon this season. I don't want to say we are going to, but you never know. Avalon, we'll have to see if they're able to pick up the pace as we go along this season.
It's kind of the blessing and curse of random pools, where some pools are just like prop up teams, and I think that's what happened to Avalon last season.
Yeah, that's definitely a potential. I mean, hey, the randomness has brought us Reminiscence versus MI7 for the 5th time in 2 seasons. But
this is true.
That out of the way.
They played a lot.
That out of the way, let's go over to our next team, which is Pride. The new kids on the block are 2-0 with +6. They were able to beat Error at 3-1, and they also beat Phoenix in a clean sweep. Navino, are Pride a contender or a pretender?
Pretender. I don't think Error's that great, and I don't think Phoenix is that great either. I think I need to see kind of more before I label them as a contender. So for now, I'm going pretender. But if they win this week, and if they end 4-1, I think they can be contender. But I think they'll probably end in a 2-3 or 3-2 range.
Jono, what about you? Are Pride a contender or a pretender?
This is probably the one thing I can agree with Navino on. I'm going pretender here. Haven't really seen them play anybody that's really worth their time, in all honesty. I want to see more after this week. I'm really thinking they could probably 3-2. I'm thinking 3-2.
We'll definitely see if Pride are able to recuperate their strength and keep it going as the season goes on. But let's go over to the other Starchy org that is in this. Yes, surprisingly, Starchy org are somehow in both of these contender or pretender talks. That is the SEAL Team Spuds, who did get a free win in week 1, but then were able to come into week 2 and had a map 5 match up against Error. Navino, are the SEAL Team Spuds a contender or a pretender?
Oh, definitely a pretender right now. They went to map 5 with a team I don't rate super high, and they haven't played another game. Like, I don't know how you can say they're contender when you have such a small sample size.
Jono, what about you? Are the Spuds contenders or pretenders?
I'm going to say they're contenders. Just for the simple fact that, look, Navino, look, man. Look, man. I'm just gonna. I was going down your path, man. I was gonna switch up my answer. I was gonna think about it. Nah, I gotta go against you because why not?
That's fair. That's
Nah.
fair. I also would just want to disagree with myself. I get it. You know,
Navino just hates his opinions. Let's be real.
of course, I hate everything I say.
I just need to see Steel Team Spuds actually play more games before I can really set a genuine answer.
Fair point. So we'll see if the Spuds are able to continue the Starchiori's dominance. They've had pretty good success in seasons past. We'll see if they're able to do it here. Let's go over to our next team, which is Space Created, who've had a pretty good start so far, 2-0 and +6. They beat the Pukin Dogs, and they've also got a bye in week 1. Navino, are Space Created a contender or a pretender?
Pretender, we need to see more games. That being said, I do think Pukin Dogs is a solid win, but I want to see more. I think their game for semi-7 will tell us a lot. And honestly, like, this group is super close to me because it has Pukin Dogs, it has Space Created, it has MI7, it has REM. 4 teams that I think could win a group in a different group. And who else do they even got? I was literally looking at this. And Thunder Duckies isn't bad either. You know, like there's like a ton of teams in that group that I think could do well if they replace another pool. So these wins, every single win matters to them.
John, what about you? Are Space Created soaring high, or are they sinking down?
I think they're soaring high. I'm gonna make them contender here. That week one bye is usually kind of throw off a lot of teams, but if they can come in beating a 1-0 team off of a 4-0 victory, then that shows that they can contend and compete for a little bit higher than a lot of people think they could.
We'll definitely see if Space Created are able to continue farther than we imagine. Let's wrap up the Discord tier here with Trigonometric, who've had a pretty good season so far, 2-0 +6. They beat Ragnarok Loki in our feature match in week 1, 3-1, but then got a forfeit win last week against Jellyfish. Navino, are Trigonometric a contender or pretender?
Pretender. I need to see more matches. I don't rate Loki that highly. I think on paper they're a solid team, but I just want to see more from them. And this week should be a decent test for them. I think Denver's Paradise Lost is a game to watch, and they play like week 4 or 5. I don't remember.
We'll definitely see how well that match goes. Jono, what about you? Are Trigonometric calculating up the right formula, or are all their success just imaginary?
I'm most definitely me and Navino are complete opposite of the spectrum. Trig is definitely a contender here, just for the simple fact that it's a pug diff. I love pug, spicy pug. You always got to show love where love is due. Trig has really big potential this season, especially on their DPS roster.
No,
What, Navino?
What,
Navino? Talk to me.
Okay. So let me get this straight.
Talk
You
to me here.
think that Trigonometric is a contender after a 3-1 win over Loki,
Mhm.
but B-Drop Bears at +8 map differential are the pretender.
Mhm.
Set up. This is for you. I'm walking away. I gotta walk away.
I simply stand on it for the simple fact that no matter how the maps went, it was 3-2, and then they were all just close. It was all just close maps. At Beat Drop Bears, week 2 was just all close maps. That's all it was.
Okay.
I can't wait for the next edition of the Navino meme to drop.
That was for Sinop. I saw Sinop's message. I was like, I got you, fam.
We had to make a meme. We had to.
Make a meme.
We found the perfect opportunity.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, as I continue dying, let's head over to Transcendence tier and start off with the preseason champions, the Guangzhou Gangsters. They are also 2-0 +8, and they were able to beat both Nightmare Outlaws and Oath 4-0 each. Navino, are the Gangsters a contender or pretender?
Yeah. Let's move on. Same roster, same results. What do you want?
Jono?
I'm right next to Navino. Honestly,
There's
I'm
nothing
right
to
next
talk
to him.
about.
There's not really much you could say.
Yeah, there sadly isn't. I mean, Guangzhou Gangsters, compared to last season, they have a lot bigger roster, but a lot of the roster that they have is extremely strong. So I think Guangzhou Gangsters...
None of them play except their starting 5. They did that so just people could get champ roll. I hate them so. I hate Cam.
No way.
Well, you learn something new every day. You know what? I don't care. Eventually, we'll see the Reborn Ringer come in. Everyone loves Reborn, right?
I think he played they played versus Oath because GZG had finals for a BPL league at the same time as Transcendence game. So they had all the backups play versus Oath.
Listen, I'm just waiting for the Soul Dynasty situation where they start subbing in their entire B team for a match and then somehow find success doing that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I believe in the Tyler Tank.
The Tyler Tank, the Reborn DPS and or support, but still, definitely Guangzhou Gangsters, one of the top teams for very good reasons. Let's move over to the next undefeated team so far, and that is the Billings Boomers, who take in the lead in the Marsupial Duel in Transcendence tier. They're 2-0 plus 8. They beat both Thoringerbad and Revital in 4-0 sweeps. Navito, are the Billings Boomers a contender or pretender?
I had to say this because of every single meme ever. God, I love the Billings Boomers all day long and all night long. Anyway, good roster, veteran talent. Maybe they beat the 5-6 Kurths, because they literally have made champ bracket like every season they've been around, but have lost in round 1 champ bracket every season they've been around.
That's a lie. I'm pretty sure they've made championship bracket at least. Or no, the champ bracket of them.
Yeah, they made the champ bracket.
I interpret it as playoff bracket, so...
Yeah, so they made the champ bracket specifically. Well, I guess technically they didn't last season because of the 4-team format, but they've got 5-6 because they were 1 game out. So technically a lie, I guess.
I don't know anymore. Jono, what about you? Do you think Billings Boomers are a contender or pretender?
I'm just gonna say contender. The amount of flexibility they have on their roster just mind boggles me. And I just want to see them do great things. They can beat GG. I'm just saying.
Very well could beat the Gangsters. We'll see if they're able to do exactly that. Let's move over to our final 2-0 plus 8 team, which is honestly a surprise to me, and that is the Wyverns. Wyverns are the last 2-0 plus 8 team in Transcendence here, beating both Classified and Just Better Incorporated in 4-0 sweeps. Navino, are Wyverns a contender or pretender?
Oh, contender. I think they honestly look better than Amnesia right now. And they both play Classified, and they look dominant versus Classified. Well, Amnesia struggled at points.
Jono, what about you? Are Wyverns contender or pretender?
I just want to say this is probably the only tier that me and Navino genuinely had like similar takes on. I kind of love it. I'm going to say contender here just for the simple fact that they pulled close maps against Classified and they dropped 1 round week 2. It was just they have it in the bag. They just have to really secure the bag now.
We'll see if the Wyverns are able to soar high and continue scoring that bag in Transcendence tier. Let's move over to everybody's favorite team and the team that continually keeps crashing my OBS. So if the stream comes out for a minute, you'll know why. It's the Devil Dukes. The Devil Dukes are currently 2-0 plus 5. They were able to beat the Fleet Angels in their feature match in the first week, but then went to a map 5 against the Nightmare Outlaws in week 2. Navino, are Devil Dukes a contender or pretender?
I did say contender, but only if Farm shows up. For those who don't know, Farm is Obese Chicken. He did not play versus Nightmare Outlaws. Fish, I love you, but Obese Chicken is a little better. And like they just look so different without him in.
If it weren't for Obese Chicken, Devil Dukes are looking like KFC. I'm gonna tell you that. Jono,
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Jono, save me from this torment and tell me, are Devil Dukes a contender or pretender?
I'm gonna say pretender just for the fact that they struggled against Nightmare Outlaws, and then there's I don't know. I just need to see more out of this team. I don't know. Kentucky Fried Chicken is the move, though.
We'll definitely see if the Devil Dukes are able to start bringing themselves into a better light after that map 5 last week. Let's move over now to another undefeated team, a new team to Tranquility as well, and that is Singularity, 2-0 plus 4 so far. They beat both the Hive Mind Halifites and Thoringerbad, both in 3-1 situations. Navino, are Singularity a contender or pretender?
I'm going contender. Solid play around their win conditions, which is really their player Rat. Dude has crazy aim. Yeah, like I think I think as long as they play smart around their win cons, like they'll be really good.
John, what about you? Are Singularity a contender or pretender?
I'm gonna say Contender, just for the fact that they pulled really close maps against Hivemind, and obviously Hivemind has a really nice roster. They have really great synergy, especially for a new team. So I could see him taking it.
Excuse me, so I just had to change something there, but definitely we'll see Singularity able to continue the momentum as they go along. Let's finish this up with our final team that is 2-0 in this, and I just realized I forgot to change the ticker at the bottom. I'm very good at this, guys. Don't worry. But yes, we were talking about Transcendence that entire time. Who would have thought? But our final team in the Transcendence tier that is undefeated, and that is Amnesia. Amnesia are also 2-0 +4. They beat both Hammerhead and Classified, both in 3-1 situations. Navino, are Amnesia a contender or pretender?
I don't know. Maybe it's just like I'm an old-fashioned nostalgia hater. You know, I can't get over my hatred of nostalgia or grr. In reality, I just think they're kind of streaky. They're going up and down, so I'm going pretender. I want to see them like play how I think their roster should play because I rated them so highly going into the season, but I feel like they're just playing up and down to people's level. And I don't think that is a good way to keep on going in a tournament like this.
John, what about you? Are Amnesia a contender or pretender?
I'm gonna say Contender, just for the fact that it seems like everybody's doubting Amnesia, but like Navino said earlier, regardless of the win quality, they're not 2-0 doesn't mean just like nothing.
Where was his reasoning for beat drop bears, Jono?
Listen, but you're still not 2-0 for nothing, though. You know what I mean? Pretenders, 10 out of 10. Show me, Navino.
I hate my show sometimes. But anyway, with that out of the way, that is all of our contender or pretender teams. Every team that is currently 2-0 in the tournament. But that doesn't mean we're done here. We still have something to go over. What about a team that you guys think will be making an impact that is not undefeated? We'll start in the Harmony tier. Navino, which team do you think is making an impact that is not undefeated?
Of course.
Oh, I forgot I was first. Flashbacks? I mean, I feel like that's such an obvious choice.
Of course.
It's like it's just such an obvious choice. I think they're still gonna be good. You know, when Pacey's back, they'll still be really good. Yeah, there's not much to say. Always a solid team.
Can we just point out how you just expressed your disdain against the nostalgia org with Amnesia?
Hey,
then you immediately go to talking good about flashbacks?
Hey, the only nostalgia org team I've said anything bad about this entire time actually has been Amnesia. Everyone else I've been pretty positive on.
Oh my god.
It's truly just Luca's on that team, so I can't bring myself to give him credit, you know?
So it's a Luca difference.
I'm joking, Luca, I still love you.
If you say so. Jono, what about you? A non-undefeated team you think will make an impact?
I'm going FBRD, honestly. Especially with the amount of old Ace High players that they picked up. Those players already have that synergy that they need. TIE Fighter's tank still a little iffy, but when he gets his feet in the ground, I don't know. FBRD is going to be one team to look out for this season.
We'll see if FBRD are able to live up. What about Discord tier now? Navino, a non-undefeated team that you think will be making a splash?
I have some recency bias because I just played them. I think Wildcat Boys, I think the stars of their show are Gliscor and Shadow Fear. And if anyone's going to drag them cricket kicking and screaming into any type of playoff run, it's those two. If I want to see them have longevity, I need to see more from the rest of their team. Because, like, when we played them, the only ones that I felt really did anything were Gliscor and Shadow Fear.
We'll definitely see if Gliscor, Shadow Fear are able to bring Wildcat Boys to success. Jono, what about you? A Discord tier team that is not undefeated that you think is going to make an impact?
I went with Loki here, just for the simple fact that they have the Mixer Kraken on support buff. I'm a believer. I love the Ragnarok. I love them as a whole, every single team. So I could see them doing it.
We'll definitely see if Ragnarok are able to continue that momentum here in Discord tier. Finally, the Transcendence tier. Navino, a Transcendence tier team that has lost a match that you think is going to make an impact.
They were in the top 8. Like, Transcendence was kind of hard to me because, like, I didn't want to pick anyone in the top 8. Actually, wait, I lied. I picked Flashbacks. They're in the top 8. Never mind. Ignore everything I just said. Fleet Angels is my pick. Talent's still there with my GOAT, Telm Jacan on tank. Anyone that ever doubts that he is the GOAT needs to go watch him play with Battalion in, like, season, what was it, 8, Bowsy? Season 8?
Season 8 was the last time I recall Battalion being in Tranquility, yes.
Yeah. Tell him the GOAT. Tell him my boy. Someone clip this and send this to Telm because you my boy.
I don't know, Navino. I think you're better.
So real, bro. Diamond 5 me. I'm just God's gift to Overwatch.
Telmathy J. Canathy definitely is one of the best players of Overwatch in Tranquility. Jono, what about you? A Transcendence team that has lost a match that you think will be making an impact.
Going back to my week 1 take, I'm going with Hivemind. Top 8 team. They have some really big names in the trans tier. They need to clean it up a little bit. Once they clean it up, I promise they're going.
We'll definitely see if Hivemind Halofights are able to continue that up. But that is everything for our main section today. Before we head into our matches that we watch this week, we have our first Cubs check. Of course, everybody has interesting comms in Tranquility, and it's safe to say that sometimes we don't get to hear those. Except you do. We have a section known as Comms Check where we compile all of the best of your comms from the past week, and we compile them into one video. This week's Comms Check both includes week 1 and 2 comms, and it was edited by Phoenix. Thank you, Phoenix, for editing this week's Comms Check.
My favorite is balls silhouette.
Balls.
Balls.
You like
My favorite is balls. Can we put that in quotes?
I know what the issue is. You don't have matching icons.
That is very true, but boxes won't change off mouthwash.
A, I don't think it's mouthwash. B, I'm pretty sure we all have that one.
There we go. We even have we got the matching icon. Button.
Yeah, I and I go.
We're gonna have very clean mouths tonight, boys.
Alright, yo.
Going loud, they're going loud. I'm gonna look at the chat behind them. Okay. Great. Try to feed them in here.
Oh my god.
You got too excited.
What would you do if I came to your house and I forced you to drink a liter of vanilla extract?
A liter of vanilla extract? I think anyone would. Have you ever tasted just pure vanilla extract?
It's very good. I like it a lot.
Oh gosh.
Hey, if you want DPS.
Do you want to license to Doom? Well, okay. If Doom doesn't work, will you switch very fast? Yeah. Because that's what you're saying, right?
That's not what I was saying, but I'm okay with that. Is that?
Wait. Did you want me to? What were you saying? Did you want me to play DPS?
If you want. Yeah. I'm just saying if you want to.
I don't mind either way. Would you rather play support here?
No preference. I just.
God damn it.
Somebody make a decision or else I'm going to.
Watch, it's actually depressing.
It's actually depressing. What the hell is this? This is bull!
Cat's up in the background. Cat's up.
Cat's the point. Wheels, cat's the point, no.
Act.
Oh, you guys got it. Kick him off.
Let's go, Dino! Title kick!
Hey, if you type /log, you can actually like see a bunch of your stats and stuff.
Wait, so we're running.
That's wild.
Log. Am I on Zen?
Okay.
What's
Did you just?
So, /log does not show you your stats, if anyone was wondering.
Why'd you believe him?
I'm so sorry.
You guys better wouldn't know.
Neptune. Now you can.
No way.
I have 100.
The server closed.
Server closed due to
Oh my.
Hold my hand. I'm scared.
Come here.
Yeah, we all need to hold hands. Everybody in. We're holding hands.
Team, we have come a long way. We got this.
Let's go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Roll call. Hypnotoss.
Yeah.
We're all here.
Wow.
Everyone else is just
That's
talking.
so real.
I physically can't I can't imagine things in my when people close their eyes and say imagine
you
something.
have the
I
thing
can't do
where
that.
you can't. You have the one disease. What's it? Or not disease, but like the
Disease.
condition. You're diseased, Wyatt.
I have a disease.
Well
Oh my
played.
gosh.
Very well done, guys.
Did we win?
Yeah, I'm sweating.
Cool. That a little bit. Nice.
Remy
can I? Remy can I?
No, we can't. It's Ram. I'm hard blocking DK. I need
Server closed.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you again to Phoenix for editing that amazing comms check this week. Now it's time to go into our matches to watch as we enter week 3 of Tranquility. Navino, we'll start with you. What's a match that you think we should be watching this week, and give us your prediction for the score line?
Boomers versus Singularity. Both first true tests, I think, for each team. I have Boomers winning 3-1. This is to me the kickoff to their campaign to be above the dark horse they've always been.
Jono, what about you? Matt, what is the match that you're looking forward to watch in week 3 of stage 1?
Honestly, it's gonna be Geo and KK, just for the fact that it's 2-tier favorites. They're both undefeated. It's probably gonna be the best look they're gonna get in their entire group. And I'm gonna be bold about it. I got Geo 4-0.
I think you're just a Marsupial hater at this point. I'm gonna be real, bro.
I got Geo going 4-0, man. It's gonna be a KK family reunion. What do you mean?
But you predicted against Marsupial every single segment today.
Something's changed, Navino. So
I know, right?
Anyway,
At least I'm consistent.
Okay, fair.
Not wrong. I went to the Discord tier. I'm looking at a very interesting match. Cosmic Castaways versus Pride. Again, we just talked about the undefeated teams. These are 2 undefeated teams that are facing off, and I think this is really going to be Pride's first test on how well they can hold up against the competition, especially when you have a powerhouse like the Cosmic Castaways in the conversation. I'm going to say it is going to be a 3-1 win for the Cosmic Castaways, but I would not be surprised if Pride put up more of a fight than that. Now, if you were into a lot more predictions, let's say, I don't know, the entire tier's worth, I have some good news for you. Right after this broadcast, we have our broadcasting of Predicting Tranquility, where Nerfed will be predicting every single match of week 3 of Tranquility alongside Ryan and Dexatron, so you do not want to miss that after this show. As well, we have our feature matches this week, all 3 of them on Tuesday for the Harmony Tier North America. It is Geometric versus the Koala Kings, that grand finals rematch from Season 9, once again in all of its glory. On Wednesday, the Transcendence tier will feature the Nightmare Outlaws face off against Oath, trying to vie. I'm pretty sure both of those teams vying for their first victory of the season, so it'll be an interesting match to watch there. And then on Thursday, we have our Discord tier match where the Wildcat Boys will be facing off against UV Rays. It's going to be one heck of a very fun week of matches here for for our tiers. Again, all those feature matches happen at 9 p.m. Eastern Distance Time. Daylight Savings Time sucks, but make sure you catch those at 9 p.m. Eastern Distance Time here on twitch.tv/tranquility.
Did you say Eastern Distance Time?
Yes, that's what it's called. EDT.
It's Eastern Daylight Time. That's what it's daylight.
I'm very tired, and
The whole time I thought it was EST. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, usually it's EST when it's standard time. When it's daylight savings time, it's Eastern.
It becomes DT, and Drowsy said distance when it's.
I am very tired.
Bro, no way that's an actual thing.
I'm glad you all are stalling, by the way, because I may or may not have forgotten to ask for a giveaway, but hopefully it's getting in soon. But anyway, other programs to watch out for. You also have Silver Slander, where we recap the Discord tier. That is every Tuesday after the feature match in the Harmony tier. Bronze Banter is also on Saturdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then After Scrims Tonight with Thuggington is held every Sunday at 10 p.m. Of course, he was stuck in the terrible Boston Logan Airport this past weekend, so he was unable to host After Scrims Tonight, but he will be back next week, and with it, he'll be announcing 2 inductees into the Season 10 Hall of Fame. Of course, last week we announced the nominees for the Season 10. 2 nominees will be inducted into the Hall of Fame next week on After Scrims Tonight. You don't want to miss that. We'll be inducting those nominees. And of course, Event Week is very close. All of our fun events where we raise a bunch of money for charity. Make sure if you are willing to participate in Event Week that you get everything set up. It is going to be the week of April. I'm just checking my schedule here. April 3rd. So we will not have a podcast on April 3rd, but make sure that you stay tuned for that after all of it. Gentlemen, do you have any last-minute comments before I try to bugger my giveaway person here to try and get us a giveaway winner as soon as possible?
If it's Chobi, I'm leaving.
I don't have it right now. That's the problem.
We can stall. I can stall.
Yeah,
what up, fam?
Try stalling. Continue arguing with each other.
I got it. I got you, Navino. I got you. So listen, man. Navino, give me your hottest take in Harmony right now.
Aimbot is probably the worst team in the tier.
I mean, that's hot enough to the point where it got Navino, where it got my giveaway, where it got the giveaway entry fired up.
Ooh, it's hot.
I just did that for reaction. I'll be real.
It's snowing outside, but apparently it's hot here on the podcast. You know what's hot? Our giveaway winner has been determined. Our giveaway winner has been determined. The winner, if I can get a drum roll, please. The winner of a free t-shirt from the Tranquility Store is Zura Tank. Congratulations, Zura Tank, for winning a free shirt from the Tranquility Store. We'll be getting in contact with you later to try and get all that information sorted so that you can get a free shirt from the Tranquility Store. And hey, if you're looking for a good shirt, like, I don't know, this Big Bang Buccaneers shirt that I'm wearing, make sure you follow that link at tranquilitygg.my.spreadshirt.shop. Yeah, I'm tired. Spreadshirt.com/tranquility. Spreadshirt.com/tranquilitygg will bring you to the store so that you can get the link that Yeti is saying right there in the chat as well. So you can get all of your Tranquility merchandise. Make sure you grab all of that Tranquility merchandise. Shirts, mugs, hats, anything that you want pretty much is available there on the store. Stickers even. But that is going to do it for us here tonight.
Bowsy, before we end, I want to say for any aimbot fans, I mostly said that this mess with John. Don't come for me. Don't come for me, bro. Don't come for me.
They're going to be coming for you anyway.
No, I'm not mad at you.
It's inevitable at this point. But
yeah, I'm not mad at you.
That's going to do it for us here today. For my wonderful co-hosts, Navino and Jono, my name has been Bowsy. We thank you all for gazing into the iris with us here tonight. Until we meet again, we hope you have an amazing week here in Tranquility Gaming. We hope you enjoy predicting Tranquility after the broadcast, and we will see you later.
Go Aimbots.
Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.